Absolutely. This federal government needs to be much more transparent than it's been in the past. I'm grateful that we have the gavel to have actual oversight, but there has to be transparency for the American people rather than just gaslighting on media all the time and on the news all the time. That's all that has been taking place for years now. The American people are kept in the dark about what's really going on. They get talking points fed to them by the DCCC and by Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and Hakeem Jeffries, and then the media help push that, and they're being completely gaslit. So let's produce the documents and show us real information. And if you can't, well, maybe you just made the whole thing up and we're not going to default on June 1st.
Lauren Boebert has a unique approach to the debt ceiling crisis, and that is to wait for the deadline without even trying to make a bipartisan deal and just see what happens. Because we all know the best way to deal with financial problems is to ignore them. I am no economic policy wonk, but deciding that your debts are just made up doesn't really seem like the best idea to me, but again, what do I know? So for those of us who are confused by the debt ceiling chaos in Washington and where we are right now, let's recap briefly where it all stands. So the debt ceiling needs to either be raised without any cuts, what the Democrats want, or dealt with by slashing funding to key social services, which is what the GOP wants. And either of these needs to happen before June 1st, or the country will literally run out of money and default, sending our economy into catastrophe. Talks between the White House and GOP lawmakers appear to be stalled on a deal to raise the debt ceiling and avoid this major financial fallout. But what Lauren Boebert and other members of the far right are doing right now is basically holding the government hostage. As Senator Chris Murphy put it on Twitter, they are threatening to default if their agenda isn't immediately passed into law. Whereas one party doesn't want to default and will raise the debt ceiling immediately and without condition. Last month, the House GOP passed a debt plan that would massively disrupt hugely popular social services, and the longer that these debt talks continue, the more chances people like Lauren Boebert and Matt Gaetz get to push their terrible plans into the discussion. Most recently, there was a House GOP border bill that got no Democratic support, and even some Republican senators were put off by it. Here's Boebert with Bannon, again plainly showing how much power these far-right MAGA crazies have right now.
We have already done our part. If anything, I want to increase the ante. Let's throw in HR 2. Let's get some border security in with this debt ceiling increase. And so I don't want to make any deals that lessen what we brought to the table, because there was already more that we could have done. And so if anything, if they're going to keep playing this game,
you've already made your accommodation.
Yes, and if they're going to play this game and not want to negotiate, then we should just keep up in the ante.
The more time that passes, the more the GOP are leaning into their demands, things like work requirements, border policies, etc., and time is running out. By most accounts, these talks will go right up until June 1st, which is a very fun way to hold the American economy hostage and keep us in a guessing game about our very real financial future. For more of my coverage on the breakdown, stay right here. You can watch my latest video on the looming debt ceiling and the moment Trump realized he's a massive hypocrite by clicking on a link in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.